I can feel his club, yeah. I can feel his drink, yeah. I can feel a good vibe coming over me. Oh, I can feel a party, yeah. It's somebody's birthday. Happy birthday. I can feel a groove, yeah. I feel a DJ, yeah. I can feel joy. I can feel trust around me. I can feel people, and I can feel the love. And it's all in the air tonight. And it's all in the air tonight. It's all in the air tonight. It's all in the air tonight. I can feel a high, and I can feel a shot. Oh, I feel all the ladies in me looking so hot. Oh, I feel them on top, yeah, just like a good day. Oh, it feels like everybody's happy, and it makes me feel great. Oh, and it's all in the air now. Yeah, and it's all in the air now. Yeah, oh, it's all in the air now. Yeah, oh, it's all in the air now. Oh, come on, let's stop all this hate, and let's stop celebrating. Life is too short for this crime of pain and bad. Let's have drinks and party up until we see the morning. Let's make a toast to change, cause I feel it's coming. It's all in the air now. Oh, it's all in the air now. Oh, it's all in the air now. I can feel it, yeah, all around. It's all in the air now. And I'm so glad that the spirit is all in the air now. You feel it in the air. Oh yeah, it's all in the air now. Blessings and miracles, yeah. I'm claiming it. Oh, I'm claiming it. Yeah, I'm claiming it. Oh, no, I'm claiming it. Yeah. It's mine, y'all.
Y'all better listen to this shit. Y'all better listen to this shit. This is a disco bass right here. Oh, baby. Doing you wrong, baby. Doing you wrong. Sorry, baby. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I need you. Baby, listen to me. This is it. Oh, baby. This is it. No more cheating on. Oh, girl, I promise that this is it, baby. It ain't no hard to me, man. Look what I'm going through. Girl, I'm going after everything. Baby, I broke your heart. Oh, and I don't deserve it. I thought you'd been so good to me. Ooh, you had loved me religiously. No, can you tell me, oh, not to let me go and do what I've done to you? I'm so tired of being untrue. Oh, this is it. Oh, say, this is it. No more cheating on. Oh, girl, I promise that. This is it. Oh, baby. This is it. No more cheating on. Oh, girl, I promise that this is it, baby. Baby, I surrender. This is no pretender. Please return to sender and say, come on, surrender. Do you hear me, baby? Please, I'm broke down on my knees, begging you to trust me. This is it. Oh, baby, this is it. No more. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Happy New Year's, everybody. Sky Zone, Progressive, Kimberly, Marcia, Miss Keisha, Jasmine, Ann Huff, Critical Thinker, Miss Lady D, Evelyn, salute. What's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing? Hope y'all have had a nice new year jump off. But I had to get live because after this docu-series, obviously people gonna be in their feelings and feel the need to come over here with that animosity. So let's do this live. I ain't got time for them comments. As I said, it's always a will and a way for us to see what we want to see. But like I said, Lifetime can't get no ratings over here. Shout out to that link that was provided to me. So we're going to do it like this. Okay? We're going to listen.
I was the first girl. And nobody believed me. And after that, it continued to happen again and again and again. Whoever's acting like they didn't know is lying. 15, 13, anything under 18 is disgusting. When you're that young, you get involved with someone and you think that you're quote unquote special. We're grown girls, but we're still little girls that cry silently.
Can everybody hear this all right?
I decided to sit on the row and be brave and watch it with the rest of the survivors. And the producers and some security personnel tell us that we have to evacuate immediately. Somebody had called in a gun threat. And that's when I knew, something powerful is in this documentary and someone's trying to make sure it's not ever seen.
Surviving R. Kelly was trending at #1 on Twitter. I don't think it's appropriate for anyone to be playing R. Kelly songs anymore. I think he's canceled.
When you start messing with somebody's money, crazy jumps out.
Robert Kelly's people began to expose women one by one.
There was a Facebook page full of my nude pictures. They just wait to get that news and say Survivor Asante McGee is dead from suicide. I am aware of surviving lies, and I definitely support that.
My parents, I feel like an embarrassment to them. I think I'm just dealing with a lot right now.
Friday night. He is being charged with 10 counts of felony sexual abuse.
We are in the process of investigating the attorneys, the agents, and the managers that enabled this course of conduct.
Man, how complicit we all have been.
There's a weird aspect of show business that the people who make it, once we're through that door, it's like we have to close ranks.
So often it's like, why? How did this happen? How could this happen? You're telling me that this many people knew this? You're telling me that he married Aaliyah and, that this tape was circulating in barbershops and all? Like, how?
This doesn't happen without a symphony of people and industries and organizations and corporations enabling this behavior.
The story here is, how did he get away with this for 30 years? It should have ended with Tiffany Hawkins, victim number 1, patient 0, girl who sued Kelly for sexual contact that started when she was 15 in 1991.
I was born and raised in Chicago. I always knew I wanted to sing. It was an outlet for me. I was very shy, but, when I was singing, I was somebody different. And I thought that music was my destiny. I sang in church. That's where I started. And even in grammar school, I was in the choir the whole time. Into high school, I saw myself being a singer like Whitney Houston. When I got to high school, I just went to Miss McGlynn. Miss McGlynn was my music instructor. She said to me, "You remind me of Whitney Houston." She said, "You even look like her." And so she took me on and started to give me singing lessons. I pretty much was on the street more than I was at home. I was staying out late. I had no sense of direction. Me and my friends were running the streets. That's what we did.
We were all running from different challenges. We all had our own challenges at home. Either rejection, abuse, or just not really feeling like you fit in.
My mother and I had some tension in our relationship. She had a boyfriend that was abusive to me, and my mother knew that he was physically abusive, and so I did feel like she did not protect us the way that I feel like I would protect my daughter. So I was angry with her for that. And that's where I was at when I met Robert. I met him in Hyde Park. A friend of mine and I were on a bus, and we saw his car and we saw him. And we got off the bus and ran over to his car because we wanted to meet him. I was a sophomore in high school at the time. I was an aspiring singer. I figured, oh my God, I want to meet R. Kelly. I want him to hear me sing. R. Kelly is a huge star. He showed interest in us, we're young girls, and here R. Kelly is, standing there talking to us, him and his friend. The conversation ended with, "I'm going to give you my address. Why don't you bring some of your friends to my apartment? We'll see how it goes." The first time I sang for Robert, I started singing a Mariah Carey song, and I hit a high note, and Robert fell out of his chair. And I was like, "So is that a good thing?" And his friend Tori said,
That's a great thing. For the first several months, my relationship with Robert was like a brother-sister relationship.
Robert paraded Tiffany around as his best friend, little sister. And he adored her. He absolutely adored her.
Robert and I talked about my life at home, the troubles and pressures of being a young girl and, growing up in the neighborhood. Somebody said they can't hear. Did the audio go out? Hit the thumbs up if you can hear. But as we can see, we already see one connection. Tiffany Hawkins, Javonta Cunningham. I already showed you Javonta Cunningham's connection with Sparkle. Then she came over here and linked with Dominique and her mother. Like, all these people are connected. They all know each other. Talking about, why do they have the same stories? The fuck? He was a great listener, and he had a way to make you feel like you could beat the odds. He made me feel like I could do anything. I could do anything. I could be anything. And he was gonna be the person to help make that happen for me. I spent a lot of time with Robert. Me, Javonte, and another friend of ours were with Robert pretty much on a daily basis. He made sure that I had a place to stay and food to eat and clothes on my back. So that's how that went. I'm finna set some moderators, by the way.
During that period in the early 90s, you would see multiple girls in the studio, and I didn't suspect any of the younger girls like Tiffany and Javonte were being sexually active with Robert. Now, they were around. They were around late. This is true. Sometimes we'd spend the night at the studio.
I never really looked at Tiffany's age because she ran with a pack of girls and they did what they wanted to do all night. They would stay out all night. They would come early. They would do what they wanted.
She's a girl who wanted to sing, and she had incredible talent. Kelly promised her a career. That's every young, aspiring musician's dream. And it instead was this sick sexual relationship where he is preying on her at age 15 and having her connect him to other 15-year-old friends. It sounds like the Manson family.
Robert did ask me to bring friends with me, and I did bring friends with me. They always wound up having sex. Always. It always ended up that way. The first time I met with Robert after getting his phone number, I gathered some of my friends and we went to his apartment. It was Robert. There were, I think, about 3 of his friends. We were all talking, laughing. Everybody had fun. There was a lot of laughs, a lot of joking. There was a lot of fun. And my friends were all in his bedroom. So I would go in and out of the room. And every time I went in there, he was having sex with someone. It turned into a whole orgy. Every girl I brought was between the age of 14 and 16. For a 25-year-old to be having sex with a 14-year-old, that was not something that was normal for me. It's not something that I had seen. This was a star, so for me, I thought maybe this was different. Maybe this is just how it goes.
As she said to me when we finally spoke, he used to call me the cable girl. And I said, I don't get it. She said, I hooked him up. I introduced him to 6 of my other friends who were 15, and they all had sex with Kelly before I ever slept with him.
When you thinking go get me some girls. I mean, we weren't looking for underage women. In our minds, we was just looking for girls. He had figured a way in, and we didn't even know it.
Using girls to recruit other girls may work to make the predator feel less guilty because somebody else is helping, feel less culpable, a little bit more distance from the more nefarious aspect of what's happening. And in subtle ways, it's also effective because a predator then is saying, let's invite more people to this party. Aren't we having fun?
Robert took advantage of a lot of my friends. Ebony, I felt the worst about.
About a month in after meeting Rob, there was a day that we were at his house on 9th and Wabash. Rob had grabbed me by the
Yes, this the one from last night.
hand, and he brought me out of the room. He started kissing on my neck and fondling me.
Ebony, that's a new name. That's apparently somebody that Tiffany Hawkins is saying she brought as well. So, again, all these girls are talking about they out here soliciting girls for R. Kelly. That is very interesting.
And we had sex. I was 14 or 15.
When we think about sexual encounters, when adults are attempting to engage in sexual relationships with adolescents, there's pressure. There's an adult that has a very strong opinion one way. Our brains don't stop developing until our mid-20s. So what that means is adolescents have an underdeveloped decision-making capacity.
We were in the same room that we were always sitting in, and he just openly bent a girl over and proceeded to have sex with her. And with that, me seeing that it hurt my feelings. But when you're that young, you get involved with someone and you think that you're quote unquote special. To see that it was just so easy to go from me to another person, and then in front of me, I actually didn't even know this impacted me like this. Throughout all the years, even when speaking about it recently, like it was nothing. It was nothing to me. But I guess it is. I guess it still is.
I felt really, really bad, and to this day I feel really bad about that.
How long after being around Robert did your relationship turn from friendship into something sexual?
So, pause, please. Need some water. Yeah, bring it. Tiffany tape 2? The first time I had a sexual encounter with Robert, it was in a very minor way. I remember one time I came to the room and he asked me to take my shirt off. And he fondled my breasts while he was having sex with somebody else. I mean, I was never okay with it, but I felt like at least I don't have to have sex with him. But I always felt like you can't be enjoying this because I'm not, and it's got to be obvious that I'm not. So why are we doing it? But he didn't care. I'm assuming that someone said something about all the young girls being around because we went from bring your friends, bring some of your friends every time, bring some of your friends. We went from that to nobody can come. He didn't tell me why, but all of a sudden, it's just me now. It's just me. So there's no one else to have sex with Robert other than me.
The first step in the process of victimization is often locating and identifying a target, a victim. And often what can make it easier is if you are less connected to family and friends, if you are more isolated in your life with less social supports. My sexual relationship with Robert began several months after meeting him. When it was just him and me, we went from this brother-sister tight-knit relationship to more of a sexual relationship. And it was weird for me.
He would have sex with multiple friends and have Tiffany watch. Then he would have Tiffany participate. Then it was just him and Tiffany. And she wanted to do whatever she needed to do to be with him. And so, when he insisted on having sex with her, she did. And then it became a regular thing, and she eventually lived with him and was told to cut off contact with other people, which she did. So it was an evolution of pedophilia.
If a 15-year-old is trading sex for a favor, rather be a career, rather be money, is not making a strong or wise decision. They do not understand where this type of behavior can lead them. Due to something we call the prefrontal cortex, it basically does not have the wiring to understand long-term effects of current impulses and current behavior.
I had no clue. Robert does what he does in your face, so you don't even see it. If you're in the studio and you hear the music going and the door is locked, here's the thing. You're accustomed to that because this is how he creates. You're not thinking that there's something going on the other side of the door because if he wants to do something, he does it in your face. So it's very easy for me or anyone else to not realize what was going on with her at that time.
It's never something that I wanted to do because I was not sexually attracted to Robert. I was not in love with Robert. I didn't want that kind of relationship with Robert. It's what I knew I had to do in order to satisfy him and keep myself around.
He promised her the world. And I believe he really tried to produce on some levels. I really do.
I honestly cannot think of a time that I was with Robert and we didn't have sex. It was all the time. All the time. I mean, I hated it. I hated it. But I did it because I felt like it's what I had to do.
Tiffany was a singer, a her relationship with Robert was music, and we introduced her to Aaliyah. And she began to sing background on Aaliyah's album. And that made her very happy because she wanted to be a singer, and she could sing.
Aaliyah is key to everything. My understanding of what happened between Robert and Aaliyah Dana Houghton begins with Barry Hankerson, who was the manager who oversaw Kelly's rise to superstardom. He had a niece, Aaliyah Dana Houghton, and Hankerson paired Aaliyah with Kelly. And Kelly wrote, recorded, produced, and titled Aaliyah's debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
We became really fast friends. My best friend actually, she had a problem with Leah because it went from her and I being very close to Leah and I being very close. I did sing on her first album as well as participated in the At Your Best video. And I got to tour with Aaliyah.
Remember, he met Aaliyah when she was 13 years old. I don't think anyone ever suspected early on that they were having a sexual relationship, because why would you suspect a grown man of having sex with a 13-year-old?
Hip-hop star R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Houghton, and Aaliyah produced 2 pieces of ID that appeared to show her to be 18.
When I found out that Robert and Aaliyah got married, I didn't care. It didn't bother me. Because if someone else was sleeping with him, that was great, because that meant I didn't have to.
A few days after the fact, Aaliyah's father put a halt to all that.
Even though clearly there were people that knew about it, it was something that was covered up. Aaliyah was the first person to have a signed non-disclosure agreement known as an NDA with Robert Kelly.
An NDA, what it is most of the time in a civil setting, if parties agree to a settlement and they don't want to share it with the public or other people, both sides sign a non-disclosure agreement. So you can't talk about the terms of the settlement. You can't talk about how much money was paid by either party. That non-disclosure agreement became the most effective tool in R. Kelly's arsenal to continue his predatory practices.
The Aaliyah story's not mine to tell. I wish that Aaliyah's family would speak, because I think there are so many young black girls who've been hurt. What it would mean to know that Aaliyah was hurt that way too.
I mean, Aaliyah and I were seeing each other when she passed. We were very serious. We talked about getting married. She was my best friend. She taught me how to love to the extent that I know how to love now. There's a lot of people out there. She just said he was a bad man, and she left it at that. I'm just saying it just made her so uncomfortable that I couldn't know about it, because it would have made me too uncomfortable not to try to rectify that situation. But I just wouldn't have been able to tolerate, knowing certain things and being in the same room with certain people. You know what I mean? Unless they begging me not to. So I had to get therapy over that. If people would have protected Aaliyah, so many other girls wouldn't have got touched. You understand what I'm saying? And whether they know they're in a bad place or not, the fact that they were able to get touched meant they were in a bad place, and they would have been able to get help earlier. You shouldn't have to always learn from pain. Sometimes you can learn from other people. Aaliyah was like the sacrificial lamb for all that, because she didn't deserve none of that. It was a good soul, good girl, and wasn't even really so resentful, let that man live, but just keep him the away from me. That's all she wanted. She was just happy to be away. And I know the whole story. You know what I'm saying? I know it was to cover up and all of that.
But how does that cover it up? It just made the conversation less crazy. Like, he married a child. So that was a headline. That was like a rumor. That was something talked about like it was normal. It wasn't like ill disgusting. You married a 13-year-old. It was like, oh, you married Aaliyah? She's 13.
15.
Yeah, but the 15 is 13, man.
No, I just want to make sure you're absolutely accurate.
But I don't have to be accurate because I don't care. It's 15, 13, anything under 18 is disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, that she's a child, bro.
I wound up going home after, it was some months. I wound up going back home because I was pregnant.
Yeah, I remember when Tiffany called me and she was in pain, and I said, baby, you don't got to hurt. You don't got to do this. I said, if that's Robert's baby, then all you got to do is do this and do that. And there's people that'll help you with that. He'll hurt. Make him hurt, honey. Don't you hurt over that. I don't want to see Tiffany hurt herself because Tiffany was signed to me as an artist.
She had become pregnant.
What? Whoa. 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 Huh? I ain't never known that. Y'all know? Did y'all know Demetrius was managing Tiffany Hawkins? Did y'all know that? He said, he told the girl, make Robert pay, not her, huh? Oh. This story's starting to, yeah, okay.
And she didn't know who the father was. And she wanted Kelly to take a paternity test.
And so I was thinking, well, maybe I should ask him. All right, I'll ask him. And I called Robert. He was getting ready to go on stage. And he told me, you and me both better know that that's not my baby. He actually took the time. He put the audience on hold. He put the show on hold to make sure that I understood what he needed me to understand. That we were not going to take a blood test. And that if I thought that was his baby, I better quickly remove that from my mind. And I said, okay. And he said, now tell me you love me. I said, I love you. And when I got off the phone, I was like thinking to myself, how did that conversation wind up like that? How did that conversation end up with me telling him I love him? I was angry with him because I really didn't understand why he wouldn't do that for me. There is a part of me that broke. I did. I broke.
Within weeks of that last straw, as she called it, that conversation, she was depressed and she tried to kill herself by taking a handful of pills. Her mother was home. She wound up in the hospital. It was a really bad period for her, as she tells it.
I said, Tiffany, you don't have to do this to yourself. You don't have to hurt yourself. You can go to see people if Robert did this to you.
I saw a commercial for Susan Logan's firm.
Hi, I'm attorney Susan E. Loggins. If you have a case, we will fight for you.
I felt like I needed to be empowered because I felt like he knocked me down. I wound up going into the office and speaking to Ian Alexander.
Tiffany Hawkins was the first.
So, she saw this infomercial for this lawyer that was going to empower her. I guess similar to how these so-called newfound accusers keep seeing people like Gloria Allred in her infamous press conferences to give these groupies empowerment.
Person to bring this to the attention of anybody. And nobody believed her.
I think a grown man having sex with young girls repeatedly means that there is a problem. And I would think to myself, how is he still getting away with this? Does not the whole world know that this man is a pedophile? My witness list consisted of Aaliyah, Javante, and several other women, people in Robert's camp. Definitely enough for me to be taken serious.
She said her witnesses in her case, like I said before, was Javante and Aaliyah. So if they gonna be witnesses in her case, why weren't they filing their own cases?
But I wasn't.
I called and called and called the office of the state's attorney, not a word back.
That was a big blowback. You know, like the state has said, with all this evidence, whatever. We don't care.
We knew we had to take action when the state didn't do anything. What Kelly was doing was horrendous, was predatory, was serial, and needed to be stopped. And so...
Did they not do anything because they just didn't want to do anything? Or did they not do anything because you didn't have sufficient evidence to validate your claim?
What we had to do was file a lawsuit against him and the people that he worked for.
Tiffany Hawkins then files a civil suit. The major difference between criminal law and civil law is that criminal laws regulate crimes or wrongs committed against the government. Civil laws regulate disputes between private parties.
We knew that our only avenue of redress was a civil lawsuit seeking money damages. We sued R. Kelly, we sued Jive Records, Zamba, Blackground, we sued Kelly for the assault and battery, we sued all these other places for negligence. It's an imperfect system, but it's the best system that's out there, and it's what we have.
But y'all neglected to say that Jive and all these other people came to the conclusion with the judges that they were not responsible. Which would bring us back to the parents. Where was they parents at? What was really going on? Seemed like to me, the more I just sit here and listen to it, we see where the origin came from with Demetrius Smith. And it's very well quite possible it was him having this relationship with this Tiffany Hawkins chick.
Tiffany gave a deposition that was described to us as hair-raising that lasted 7.5 hours.
On the record, she testified that she had sex with R. Kelly while she was a minor and that he knew it, and that he had sex with other minors in her presence. And she testified under oath that they engaged in group sexual encounters together with other minors. Kelly's lawyers threw me out of their office, so they knew they were screwed.
R. Kelly and his lawyers quickly offered her a $250,000 cash settlement, contingent upon her signing a non-disclosure agreement.
Bad men, particularly men who are accused of trafficking, abusing, raping young girls and women, there's usually some financial aspect that helps you evade justice. You don't operate like that out in the open, essentially, for so long without some kind of monetary attachment.
I left Susan Logan's office because I always want to do my best, and I really feel like I was denied the opportunity to do the best for Tiffany Hawkins in this case. Paying money for silence victimizes women. Susan, as far as I know, has brokered settlements for silence for victims of of R. Kelly's abuse.
Do you know what your rights are? If you're not sure, call us and tell us the facts.
Loggins began what I call a sort of settlement factory. Girls would come to her with charges of underage sexual contact with Kelly. She would send them to a private detective agency in suburban Hinsdale, make them take a lie detector test. A settlement would be struck, a non-disclosure agreement would be signed, and the girl promised never to speak about it. I believe there are more than a dozen of those settlements that we don't know about because there were not court papers. Loggins has never given me the number. She has only said numerous, with a little bit of a smirk.
So it's funny people be talking about these settlements so matter-of-factly when Jim Derogatis just told us that because it's not court documents, he himself doesn't know how many they are, trying to imply there's way more now.
Having the money was great. That did not take the pain away. It was not the end-all be-all, It didn't fix everything like I thought it would, It didn't fix everything. There were times.
Exactly. Who said that? Keisha Jordan, when she says, why try and sue and not press charges? That is my thing. And that's what made me a little irritated with some of the comments last night from some of these people saying things like, I hope you're not ever abused and all this other stupid shit. First of all, don't none of these people watching my videos know my story and or nothing that I have been through. Therefore, when you come and you're fueled with hate and you just start speaking with emotion and you just try to say some hurtful things, you might need to go and get yourself some help. While all y'all keep talking about all the people supporting R. Kelly are sick, we need some help. No, you need some help and let that hate go. Because y'all sitting here on people that you don't fucking know, don't know nothing that they done been through, going through, or in the future will go through. But you want to come over here and just comment hate. For what? If you don't agree with nothing that's said over here on this channel, guess what? You can go on over there to all the other hundreds that's talking negatively about R. Kelly. But the fact remains this. Over here, we're talking about logics. And common sense tells a person like me is, if you are abused and you choose not to press charges, and then you want to come and tell your story to the press, don't be looking for no sympathy from no person like me. Because it don't make no sense.
Times during my lawsuit that I still, I wanted to make it go away. There was times where I wanted to go back to him.
Wait a minute. So she just went out her way to tell us how much she hated having relations with this man. But now she wanted to go back. What? I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
But, there was actually a time I called him. He got on the phone, and we talked probably for 5 minutes, and he said, I don't think we should be talking. We got off the phone, and haven't talked to him since then.
Oftentimes, survivors of sexual violence do not want the perpetrator to go to prison. They want the harm to stop. They want the power dynamics to shift. Oftentimes, they want to be loved because these are also perpetrators who wooed them and swept them off their feet. They consider to be a boyfriend. They consider to be someone who loves them, consider to be somebody who's in their family.
I wanted to run back to the Robert that took care of me, the Robert that I thought loved me. The Robert that I felt like protected me. He didn't want me to be on the streets, and he didn't want me to be out there gangbanging. I felt like he wanted the best for me, and he just did not come through. So while all the sex was going on, there was more sex and not enough singing.
Part of her died with that lawsuit. She gave up her opportunity to become.
Are y'all see? This the thing. The way she's spinning it now is like a relationship, right? But before, you just kept getting that I hate it. Like, that's what's confusing to me about these people. Because from my perspective, what I read, they may have had genuine connections, or this man may have genuinely helped them or provided them with places to go, and they spit on his fucking face. That's just what I'm getting out of it.
A recording artist. She gave up her friendship with Robert. She gave up everything that made her smile. She gave up her love for the sound of music. Music don't play the same way to her no more. Her dream ended with the lawsuit. The beat stopped. Tiffany couldn't dance worth a darn. But Tiffany can sing. She stopped singing. She tried. It just, the passion wasn't there anymore. We're grown girls, but we're still little girls that cry silently. If you weren't there, you'll never understand it.
I'm going to just end that on that note. But this is my thing. I just personally feel like these were of age women, and they're fudging their ages for this whole effect. What do y'all think? Drop your comments. Do you think Tiffany had a relationship with her manager, Demetrius? And at what point can you willingly participate in sexual acts and then go back with remorse and say, well, I really didn't want to do this, so this was abuse? I'm going to show y'all a reaction that I saw.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. Okay, here we go again. We really didn't need a part 2 of this shit, man. Like, we really didn't at all. We know this man is a sicko. We know he's a damn creep. We know he's sick. We know all that, man. We didn't need a damn part 2 to tell us that. Now, I made 3 reaction videos last January, when they first aired this documentary. Y'all done went wild in the comments. So I'm gonna pause right there, because that's what a lot of people around will be saying. We know this about R. Kelly. We know he a freak, this, and that. But how many people have actually taken the time to get to know who Robert is? It's funny how they tried to manipulate this R. Kelly versus Roberts in the first docuseries. But even in this legal case, how many legal cases do you see where they're parading this celebrity by their stage name? Usually they're addressed by their government. That's who gets the charge, right? So why is it they're trying to keep saturating all this negativity surrounding R. Kelly? What about Robert? Everybody had an opinion, but that's what the video is for. It's for damn opinions. It was my opinion on R. Kelly. It was my opinion on the dick in the head, and he just as damn dumb as R. Kelly's ass is. Wait, hold on, time out. Flag on the damn plate. Who are these white women on here laughing, cackling, and kikiing it and shit? Kiki my ass. This ain't no laughing matter. This shit ain't funny. To sit there and mock and joke and talking about some surviving lies, defending this man? What the hell wrong with y'all? On the damn TV smiling and shit with your Christmas tree dress on. Man, dog, get them off my damn TV screen, man. Now, Kelly's ass is... So that was him talking about the twins. And while I'm talking about it, I read this little article that was done by Oxygen. And the way it's being portrayed is that the twins started the whole Free R. Kelly movement. Because they started using that hashtag, it spawned a whole lot of people to activate, what it seems like. Never mind all the other people that were saying that before. But anyways, they say, who are sisters Lindsay Perriman Dunn and Jen Emmerich, who defend R. Kelly in part 2 of Surviving R. Kelly? They make it clear that they don't believe any of the accusations of abuse made against R. Kelly. I believe in the American justice system, Lindsay says. In the second part series, I do not believe in the justice system that is going on right now, which is just the public justice system. Right now, the public is prosecuting R. Kelly, not the police. It's nice that this article says that he was accused of allegedly marrying a teen. That's nice that they said allegedly instead of just saying that he did, which we already covered that marriage certificate. Who needs a fake marriage certificate if a legitimate marriage proceeded? Perriman Dunn worked for the singer from 1999 to 2007. She started out as his studio manager before moving up to become his personal assistant. Started out as his studio manager before moving up to become his personal assistant. Later, she became his general manager. When that happened? I missed it. Comment. When that happened? When did the twins, one of them, which one? I don't know.
Let's go back. Lindsay. When was Lindsay his general manager? Did anybody catch that? When did that happen? Lindsay Perryman. When was she R. Kelly's general manager? Emmerich worked for R. Kelly from 1999 to 2001. She started off as an intern before becoming his personal. She started off as an intern before becoming the singer's personal manager. 1999 to 2001. She was his personal manager. Oh no, that's the wrong part. The manager was with Lindsay. Jen is saying she started off as an intern before becoming the singer's personal assistant. In 2016, they began doing some unpaid social media and public relations work for R. Kelly, again during their free time in an attempt to help his tarnished image. So 2016, they say they started public relations and social media work for him for free. Yet, where is the damage control? I missed that. All I see is negative shit. The fuck? They say some of those hashtags they were using were used by social media pages that have spread unfavorable information about some of R. Kelly's alleged victims. So the twins told them that some of the hashtags that they spawned have been used by social media pages that have spread unfavorable information about some of R. Kelly's alleged victims. Some of the pages even spread revenge porn images of one of the victims, according to the docuseries. So, that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you be talking and it don't make no sense. She said, I'm going to say it again, some of these pages even spread revenge porn images of the victims. Of the victims. Not of the accusers, of the victims. Both Perryman Dunn and Emmerich social media pages are peppered with posts declaring R. Kelly's innocence. They engage with accuser supporters regularly. Perryman Dunn testified in 2008 at R. Kelly's trial when he was accused of having sex with and urinating on a 14-year-old girl. She says in the docuseries that she watched the tape and identified the girl as a girl she knew. However, she claimed now in hindsight the video showed two consensual people having sex. I did not watch rape, she said. Whew. She said, I'm just flabbergasted over here. She said she watched the tape and identified the girl as a girl she knew. However, she claims now in hindsight the video showed two consensual people having sex. I did not watch a rape. She did not say the girl on the tape was not the alleged victim.
She said they were having consensual sex. So I already know what's finna come. Guess what? Some critic says just what I was thinking when I read the shit. We have a legal system that says that they are not allowed to consent. So if they're not consenting by even virtue of age, it's a rape. So by not saying that it's not the alleged victim, it's not an underage girl, that leaves that door open for just that. Okay. So let's go back to 2008. R. Kelly trial. Ex-assistant identifies R. Kelly girl on video. Don't say general manager. None of that. Say assistant. The R. Kelly child pornography trial resumed yesterday after the long Memorial Day weekend, with several more witnesses taking the stand to identify the singer and the young girl in the sex tape. Most notable of the witnesses was R. Kelly's former assistant, Lindsey Perryman, who spent 7 years working for the star. Perryman testified that Kelly was a great boss and that she thought highly of him and that she never seen him act inappropriately with females. That being said, she was 110% sure that the couple in the video was Kelly and the girl at the heart of the trial. Perryman knew the girl very well. She testified that she would often see her show up to Kelly's studio carrying a pillow and an overnight bag, and as her job functions expanded, she often facilitated liaisons between the two. Despite the fact that the girl was often coming from school to meet with Kelly, Perryman never suspected any inappropriate behavior. Perryman also acknowledged seeing Lisa Van Allen, the supposed third partner in the alleged threesome on the video, who is expected to take the stand today. So by her testimony, she's saying that she was facilitating liaisons with this girl. What y'all think about that? Drop some comments. What y'all think? Cause when I seen their first interviews, I said it from the beginning. Their story has changed. And I ain't gonna say nothing, but I ain't crazy. I'm gonna keep watching. Something ain't right. That's all I'm gonna say. Something ain't right. I don't know about phases. You know, I got mutual respect for her. But, not them. But, let's go on to the tick. Because, as they push this story, they always overlook certain things. Such as other people from her family saying there's no resemblance between his family member and the participant. You got the alleged victim and her parents denying the involvement with the testament, with the deposition under oath. You got Leroy Edwards Jr., who said he had never been interviewed by law enforcement about the case, testified he agreed to speak with Kelly's attorneys at the request of the alleged victim's father. Shona Edwards did not identify Kelly as the video's male participant. From what I know of him, that does not appear to be him. Prosecutors showed Edwards side-by-side profile shots of her relative and the female from the video. Though the subjects in the photographs appear similar, Edwards said she did not think they looked alike. They looked like the same people. Not at all. Then you got them now with these doctored photos. Why do you have to go through all these extremes if what you're saying is true? And I would agree with Shona Edwards, the alleged victim's sister, that doesn't look like her and definitely doesn't look like him. No matter which still you take, none of these people appear to be R. Kelly. It's funny, DeRogatis want to keep talking and pushing his narrative upon all these women, but he didn't want to testify in court. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. You want to know why? Because he received alleged child porn and he's showing it to people. That's against the law, right? But yet he could just sit here and keep making these articles and all this extra shit. The Sun-Times twisted those facts. The paper said the alleged family and the victim refused to cooperate with the prosecutors, something quite different from their grand jury appearance. The facts that Edwards' niece, who was identified by prosecutors as Kelly's victim when he was indicted on child pornography charges, and her parents all told a grand jury that she was not the young woman in the video. Nor did the paper mention that vocalist Edwards was its primary source for the story. She was identified simply as an aunt of the girl in the video, not being able to fully report Kelly's connection to Edwards, and her niece still rankles the reporters. So, the reporters that were talking about this, reporting on this, were in their feelings because they could not print out and identify the alleged victim's connection to Sparkle at the time. We pushed hard to name the girl because it proved a connection to Kelly, said Jim DeRogatis. But our editors felt she was a rape victim and a minor and didn't want to identify her. I can understand that. Yet what did Jim DeRogatis do? He made sure to get her name leaked to the public, to publicly shame this girl, and then try to imply that she is an enabler. Well, if that's the case, if she's an enabler, a girl that you're sitting here telling us is on a damn sex tape, then what the fuck is these other damn women on this goddamn podium with these sob-ass stories? What the fuck? Make it make sense. Then, they don't want to tell you all the little holes in their stories and how all these years, these 20 years they want to talk about, they have sit here and tried to perfect this bullshit story. Even with Sparkle, when she originally told the story, she named a guy named Buddy Myers, an attorney, talking about he brought the sex tape for her to see. But the truth was, it was Jim DeRogatis. And he made sure to make it clear that he did not see this tape. You want to know why? Because it's supposed to be child porn, right? He don't want to sit here and say he's sitting here passing around child porn. Quite obviously. Then you got Javonta. She just know every damn body. Everybody. Nope, I'm not buying it. Sparkle, she went so far as to lie about why her relationship with the record label ended. Because she was fired for refusing to show up unless her boyfriend, Steve, was allowed to work on her next project. But R. Kelly said, all hell to the no, no, no. Bye. The next thing you know, he's in a damn sex tape. Imagine that. And how this member speaks on how he found out his wife, Sparkle, was cheating on him with R. Kelly. Maybe that's who he saw in the back of the bus. That's a good question, Dakota Pickens. I don't know why, buddy. That would be a great thing. Probably because she ain't have shit. How you gonna sue a broke ass artist? And I'm pretty sure if they had tried to push the issue with him, he would have. And then they won't tell you that after Barry Hankerson leaked that fake ass marriage certificate to Vibe magazine, Aaliyah's father fired his ass. Well, not really fired, but he just took over as manager for his daughter. And then they found themselves making their way to a better deal without Barry Hankerson. Jicey ass. And somebody gonna have to find this out for me. Because I still hadn't found it. Maybe you know. Drop a comment. It was told to me that Barry Hankerson is the manager to London on the Track. Is that true? We're going to have to find it out. Because that would make a whole lot of sense. And then this is another thing that irked my nerves. You sit here and go back to the indictment. You go back to the indictment, and it's talking about individual B, individual C, which is Keith and Chuck, the people who were sitting here trying to extort R. Kelly from the beginning. So if you're going to sit here and include them in this indictment, why aren't they being indicted for extortion, shopping around alleged child porn, distributing alleged child porn, etc.? Are we just going to bypass that nobody was charged for distributing this so-called child porn and selling it everywhere? And then to go all out and make sure you identify the alleged victim, which has rights. She has her own rights. But what did they do? They wanted to make sure to include her in the propaganda. Like, we can't see past this fake ass editing going on with these other images provided by Avenatti. And then they want to keep bypassing Damon Pryor, who wanted to give his testimony prior. Then you got Lisa Van Allen's other baby daddy allegedly posting, talking about what he knows about the extortion plot. What's done in the dark is always going to come to the light. And I'm going to stand by what I said. That's not R. Kelly in that sex tape. And I just keep repeating and emphasizing this sex tape. And let's go over this marriage certificate again. Because I'm sick of these stupid ass people from Team Truth coming over here with that bullshit. The only thing y'all can fucking say is He married Aaliyah. He was on the sex tape. Motherfucker, that ain't him on that tape. And if you too dumb to see that this shit is fake, go fall in a ditch. Don't comment on now another one of my fucking videos. Cause you know what? I ain't even gonna acknowledge it now another time. I'ma just hide y'all ass, block y'all ass, whatever you wanna call it. Because like I said from the jump, I'm not here to debate with no fucking body from Team Truth. Cause obviously they Team Deception and don't even fucking know it. Just out here all pumped up on emotions and ain't got no damn common sense. Let's look at it. This supposed to be Aaliyah's marriage certificate. This shit. No, boo. This is what a real motherfucking marriage certificate looks like. Stupid. Look at it. Real. Fake. Fuck. What you need a fake certificate for if he really married her? Let that shit go. The fuck? Just cause you see some shit don't mean it's fucking real. So you mean to tell me Drake took this picture with Aaliyah too? Huh? Nope. The fuck? I just can't take some of these people serious. By the way, I just created this page not too long ago. I try to remind myself to post on it because I'm used to just posting on my real page, but anywho. If y'all want to go check out Gerald McGee, he's definitely blasting his ex-wife, Asante McGee. But yet they keep putting her ugly ass on this damn show. Can't take it serious. I cannot. Which comment from yesterday? I'm telling you, all them comments from yesterday, they had me ready to slide through this phone and slap a hoe like, shoo, y'all lucky I'm with y'all right now. I be with the shit. For real. After all them comments I tried to bypass and ignore last night. Denise. You know what? I just went on and blocked her because I ain't even gonna give him the opportunity to keep coming over here with that bullshit and get me razzle dazzled. I ain't got time for it. Damn con artists. All these people got a past. And like I said in the video that I did with Damon Dash, which included the Gloria Allred and Tom Messereau, just like he said, these people want to get mad at us because we genuinely see past the bullshit. So with the shit that they tell us, we naturally have questions. And the only thing they can come back and say is, but he married a 15-year-old. Come on now. Y'all gonna have to come better. That's all I keep reading. But he married a 15-year-old. The fuck? But he urinated. Listen, I don't give a shit about nobody's sexual preferences. If people urinating, poo-pooing, doing all that extra stuff, you know what? People is going overseas and doing all that extra stuff for a bag. No, that ain't got nothing to do with us. Why do we have to know that? That has been my problem from the beginning. That if you had watched all these previous interviews with these so-called accusers and victims, at the beginning, all the interviewers wanted was details on R. Kelly's sex life. And that is my problem. I don't need to know that. But the thing is, they tried to make it about underage to get a charge on him. And I'm just not finna sit here and be like, no. You gonna sit here and say that parents can't groom their kids and push them off on celebrities. And these 17, 18-year-olds can't do the most to get a bag. and then come back and say, but we started this relationship at 17. Your parents brought you to this person. What am I supposed to say about that? We let 15, 16-year-olds drive deadly weapons, things that can kill people. But you want to sit here and tell me a 15, 16-year-old cannot say, don't pee on me. I don't want to have sex with you. If this person has sex with me, I'm going to the police. You know what? I'm going to tell you a story. I ain't never told nobody this story. I'm going to tell you this story. I have, she's 9 now, but at the time she was 7. Now, when she was 7, her little cousin, who I was living with, my brother and his girlfriend and their kids, tried to hunch on my little 7-year-old. This boy, 11, 12 years old. He decided he wanted to try to hunch on my little 7-year-old. If my motherfucking 7-year-old got enough sense to say something, you ain't finna fucking convince me no goddamn 14, 15-year-old girls ain't got nobody they could reach out and talk to. Rather, it's going straight to the police themselves. If a 7-year-old got that much sense, please, miss me. Miss me. You know what I did as a parent? I packed my shit up and I left that situation. That's what parents do. You don't sit here and keep trying to set your kids up and send them out and do all that extra shit and then want to play victim. No. Last time I checked, if like I said, people don't know nothing about me. I had my first child at the age of 17. I got pregnant when I was 16. Are you going to sit here and tell me that people that get pregnant at 16, they're all going to be considered abuse victims now? They don't know no better? The point I'm trying to make in saying that is, all this hoopla about R. Kelly, we got to first stick to the first questions. Where are the parents? Because they need to be on the front line of the accountability. Because if it weren't for them, they wouldn't have got to no damn R. Kelly. Then you got to go into the people who are supposed to be checking these IDs. We got multiple people from his camp saying that IDs were checked. So how am I supposed to react other than to be suspicious when a handful of women say we were never asked about our age? That's kind of unbelievable to me. Especially when you have members of the police working as security. They leave all that out. You know, they had a whole show, 16 and Pregnant. It just seemed like they pushed these concepts out here into the world. But they don't ever take responsibility or accountability for the brainwashing they do. Who's going to take accountability for pumping the people like Cardi B who promote having sex with rich men for a bag? Oh, it ain't gonna get serious until those women start saying he raped me, even though they were just doing just that, chasing a bag. Nishalay says, well, if he had police working for him, so do you think they would have said something? I believe, I would hope. I ain't gonna say I believe. I would hope that would be the purpose in going all out and having police as your security. To protect yourself. Like, if nothing else, you should know that these police are supposed to be checking IDs and doing everything politically correct. But hey, we see crooked cops every day, just like we see this case full of corruption. You got people like Kim Fox who can abuse their authority and present janky evidence, sort of say, to a grand jury and incite an indictment based on a damn movie. You got two attorneys who have made a career extorting money from celebrities and politicians. You can just sit here and Google Gloria Allred press conference and see all the celebrities she's tried to put on her belt. So you don't think that would inspire these women who have did all this extra stuff, who now feel like they can get something for their pain? At the end of the day, it's just sad that these people can publicly break the law. They can go through these cases simply for political gains. Just like with the Cosby case, they allowed these former women who have settled to come in and talk even though they signed non-disclosures. And anybody knows that people in high places, they push these non-disclosures. Some people, whether you know it or not, you slick have a non-disclosure at your job. Like, I was sitting here reading my job's social media policy. And if I directly call out my employer and say anything bad about them directly, I could get fired. But I can make general statements. But shit like that, they keep saying these non-disclosures like R. Kelly is the only star that does this, or the only person that has non-disclosures, is the point. And that's ridiculous. At the end of the day, looking back, 2019, and I'm going to cut this video off and play a song. But looking back, what it appears to me is that Sony has a big hand in this setup. And they have initiated all these little puppets to come in and fulfill the plan. All these people have been put into position for these specific agendas to take place. All these cases happen the way they happen to set up specific laws. So I feel like Sony is a big contributor to this Me Too movement. You want to know why? Because they want some of these artists or specific people's catalog. Just go and Google R. Kelly's catalog. Not just music he has put out. Not just music we have seen in any average Google search or YouTube search. Just go and start looking at his catalog. What he's written for other people, what he's produced, all that goes into his catalog. And even if he's acquired other people's music for his catalog, all that makes a difference. And just say if this record label wants that,
How are you going to get that? A person ain't going to willingly hand you something they have built for 30 years. No. Just think about it. With that being said, I enjoyed this time here. I'm kind of glad that somebody sent me that leak. So, like I said, I didn't know that little bit of information about Demetrius managing Tiffany Hawkins. And, you know, that's a little bit interesting to know. And it was a couple more gems if y'all go back on the playback. But anyways, I'm going to leave y'all with this R. Kelly song. Y'all have a great night. Happy New Year's. I appreciate all y'all. Peace and blessings, everybody. Happy New